The man you see on this footage is known as Jamie Osuna, or the infamous clown-faced killer. In 2011, he was arrested for murdering a 37-year-old woman in a motel by stabbing her with sharp weapons. He later confessed of being a Satanist, sadist, and had multiple tattoos, like a pentagram, the eerie Joker smile on his face. The following story is a dramatized version based on this terrifying serial killer. I'm a tattoo artist. People of various backgrounds, ages, and ethnicities visit my place to get tattoos. Sometimes they tell me exactly what they want, and other times, I suggest things to them from my own artwork. Due to my profession, I get to meet all kinds of people. People with bad tempers and body odor, people with polite natures and well-mannered behavior. But this one time, a particular customer scared the crap out of me. It was a mundane Tuesday night, probably around 7 p.m. I was just finishing tattooing a butterfly on a boy's arm when the studio door slammed open. A man dressed in blue jeans and a dirty yellow t-shirt entered. He looked around the shop with wide eyes and then noticed me. A huge grin appeared on his face as he looked me in the eye.
Are you the tattoo artist?
Yep, that's me.
Good. Good.
Saying this, he took a seat in the waiting area and surprisingly waited for his turn. The boy must have been freaked out by him because he got all tense. As soon as I was done, he paid me and fled home. The man watched the boy leave with a scary face. He chuckled to himself, seeing the boy feel intimidated by his presence. You can come over now. The man came to the chair, and for the first time, I noticed his whole face from a close view. His entire face was already filled with tattoos. He had patterns made around his eyes, resembling a clown face. There were snakes tattooed on his neck and cheeks. So, do you have a design in mind? He took out a small paper and said,
I want this to be a tattoo on my forehead.
I opened the paper and saw it was a pentagram with a demon head in the middle. This wasn't my first time doing creepy tattoos, so I reacted professionally. Okay, sure. I started my job, and the man began conversing with me, asking me all kinds of weird questions.
Are you not scared?
Of what?
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, it's a pentagram.
That's not some ordinary pentagram, lady.
Well, what is it?
That's the seal of Baphomet, the Dark Lord. Tell me, do you believe in God?
I had my sense of reasoning, but for the sake of saying the minimum, I replied, I do.
Then you must believe in evil as well, 'cause evil is real.
If I could have, I would have kicked him out, but I decided to keep my job and get done with this freak as soon as possible. I didn't say anything else, I just kept tattooing. I've seen many customers, even after 100 tattoos, still jitter once the needle hits, but this man was hard as stone. He didn't move, didn't flinch. It was as if he felt nothing. After a short silence, he spoke again.
I still remember the day my uncle threw a brick at me like it was some silly joke to play on a 9-year-old.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But he wasn't there to save me that day. I prayed and prayed, but he never taught my uncle a lesson. So one night, I put super glue in his shaving cream. I still remember his scream when the flesh of his face came out in chunks. Such fun days.
I was too stunned to speak, and something in me made me go on with the job like a robot, as if I was his slave for that hour. Even if I'd wanted to, I couldn't stop and say no. He remained quiet for the rest of the session, and once I was done, I felt my hands getting numb from fear. He got up and went to look in the mirror.
You did good.
Thanks. He handed me the money, and I don't know why, but a small amount of courage piqued in me. Where is your uncle now?
Burning in hell with my stepdad. That sucker used to beat me with a whip when I was a kid. He would tie me to a tree in our backyard and just whip me until I fainted out of pain. You know what I did to him?
My heart was racing faster than a cheetah. I mumbled, "What?"
I served him bleach every night. Sometimes with soup, sometimes with curry. I clapped in my room when I heard him vomit his ass off every morning. Slowly, his heart gave up. Everyone thinks this sucker died of a heart attack. A heart attack. Hope the two of you are regretting how you treated me.
You killed them?
Are you gonna call the cops?
No.
Why? You too tired to call the cops? Go ahead, do it. No one holds the authority when it comes to calling the cops. Oh.
Trust me, I couldn't move an inch. I thought if I take one step, this crazy freak might lunge at me and actually murder me. When he realized I didn't have the guts, he smiled creepily and walked to the exit door. Before leaving, he turned around one last time and waved at me.
Hope you never have to see me again. If you do, don't forget to call the cops.
And he left. I don't remember how I went home that night, but the story doesn't end here. Months later, I was having dinner in my apartment while watching TV. I accidentally turned to the news channel, and I saw him again. That Satan-worshipping freak had made the headlines.
Last night, a 36-year-old woman was found murdered in a motel in Kern County. The mother of 6 was probably going to bed when the killer, a man named Jamie, sneaked into her room and stabbed her to death. Investigators say she has been gagged and found with stabbing instruments protruding from her back. The cops are searching for him, and they have sources coming up to them to help and identify this man. A motel staff claimed to have seen a sketchy-looking guy the afternoon before the murder happened. Witnesses say he has a clown face tattoo and various other inkworks on his entire body. He also has a pentagram tattooed on his forehead. The cops think the man is probably a Satanist, but further details are yet to come. Without a single doubt, this is said to be one of the most gruesome murders in recent times.
Eventually, the cops arrested Jamie, and his wife helped them catch her deranged husband. What shocked me the most was how he had no remorse. When he was taken to court, he was all smiles and even waved at the camera, just like he waved at me that night. It scares me to death that my client turned out to be a psychopathic murderer. Even if I feel badly for him because of his troubled childhood, I still can't reason why he killed that innocent woman. Maybe the torture unleashed some demon within him. Or maybe he was always a freak. What do you think?
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy. Hey, I'm Nathan. And even though I don't have any tattoos, I'm a big fan of them. When I was a kid, I always wanted to get a tattoo, but my parents wouldn't let me. When I came of age, all my friends got tattoos, except me. The answer couldn't be simpler. I usually say it's because I'm afraid of needles, but that's a lie. Every time I hear that particular sound of the tattoo machine, I think about her. The first time I met Gabrielle, the tattoo artist, I was accompanying a friend of mine to get a tattoo. I was planning to do it the following month, but when Nancy told me to see her, find out what was waiting for me, I didn't hesitate for a second.
You're having second thoughts? I'm the one who's going to get tattooed. You shouldn't be afraid.
I'm more afraid of being kidnapped and having our organs sold when we go in. Surely you know this tattooist?
Actually, no.
Nancy, what the hell?
But I know she's reliable. A friend recommended her to me. He said she works very well and she's cheap. Maybe too cheap. I'll consider your proposal to sell the organs.
From the open window of the shop peered a tattooed girl. She was extremely thin, and her eyes were tinted blood red. So I assumed she was wearing contact lenses. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No offense taken, darling. Come in before someone really tries to kidnap you.
Upon entering, we found a tattoo bed and various tools. The place looked well kept, definitely counteracting what was outside. Without wasting any time, the tattooist began to prepare to do the tattoo. I had never seen Nancy so excited. Maybe that's what kept her from seeing her tattooist watching me. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but as the minutes passed, her eyes kept pointing obviously at me, more and more, and it even got to the point where she didn't care if Nancy noticed. My friend lay down on the bed and stared at the wall while Gabrielle tattooed her left arm.
How are you doing, hun?
She asked Nancy while still looking at me.
It hurts a little, but I'm fine. And what about you? Are you planning to get a tattoo?
Her question caught me off guard. I don't know yet. I might do it in the future.
What the hell, Nathan? You're anxious to get a tattoo.
Gabrielle didn't like the answer. She gave me a bad look for a moment and then resumed the maniacal smile she was looking at me with.
Maybe he's afraid of tattoos. Maybe you're right. You know, Nathan, you shouldn't be afraid of getting a tattoo. You should embrace the pain. It's beautiful, and it'll be with you all your life.
I could swear her red contact lenses were glowing. I felt like this woman was looking right through me, more and more anxious.
Ow! You're hurting me. I'm sorry, dear. I was tattooing a sensitive part.
Fortunately, Nancy got a smaller tattoo, so we weren't there for more than an hour. At that time, Gabrielle didn't stop for a moment to look at me with her horrible, macabre smile. The days after that went from bad to worse. Gabrielle wrote me, and I decided to ignore her. She gave me a really bad vibe. Time proved that my decision was the right one, because soon after, she started writing me on all the social networks. Her messages made no sense. Sometimes she would talk to herself without me answering her. Then she would insult me, and suddenly she would start talking naturally again. Every time I blocked her, she followed me with a new account. Shortly after that, I started to see her on the street or when I went shopping. She would not approach me. She would just wave at me from a distance, as if to let me know she was following me. I knew I should have mustered up the courage to tell her to leave me alone, but I was always a person who avoided confrontation at all costs. I didn't even dare to approach her. And I think that's what encouraged her to keep harassing me. The girl just waved at me. I didn't have to do anything to stop her. But my inaction brought its consequences a few days later. I was leaving my house. It was a sunny Tuesday and the streets were empty. As soon as I took a few steps out of my house, I saw a shadow in front of me. As soon as my brain processed that I had to turn around, a hand came behind me, put a handkerchief on my face, and suddenly, I started to get very sleepy. So sleepy that I closed my eyes and fell over. When I opened my eyes, I was inside the tattoo parlor, and in front of me, dressed in a tunic, Gabrielle was looking at me with her eyes wide open.
You finally woke up, sleepyhead. Don't bother talking. Nothing you have to say is important. Nathan, I've loved you from the first moment I saw you from my window. Oh, come on. I'm not dumb. I know you don't even know me, and I don't know you either, but my love doesn't go through the romantic.
At my terrified look, Gabrielle took off her robe and showed me her body. She was in a bikini, and her whole body was covered with tattoos with the letter N inside a heart. Her body was all red and swollen. Those tattoos had been fresh.
Obviously, I'm not in love with you as a person. What I'm in love with is the feeling I get from seeing you. The pain I feel when I see you talking to your friend. How much I want to hurt you. Look at my body, Nathan. Do you have any idea how much it hurts? I squeezed the needle really hard and did it all by myself, even on my back. This is what an artist does, Nathan. We feel passion, emotions. I love this rush. And you know what's better than hurting me? Doing it to someone else. Nathan, I'll tattoo my initials all over your body. And you know what? I won't use ink. I'll do it in blood.
With her machine turned on hand, Gabrielle started to walk slowly towards me, as if enjoying every second of my fear. I couldn't stop crying. I was at the mercy of this psychopath. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door of the tattoo parlor, and she turned her head in that direction. I took advantage of the distraction to stand, tied up, and ram her with all my might. Gabrielle hit the wall and was stunned, so it was hard for her to stand up. Meanwhile, I rammed the weak wooden door.
Oh, kid. Now you've done it.
Gabrielle was standing up in a rage.
I'll tattoo you with a knife.
Gabrielle grabbed a knife from the table and came towards me at high speed. But before I got her next to me, I gave the door one last push and opened it. The tattooist tried to follow me, but surprised, stopped. When she saw that, on the other side of the door, there were two policemen pointing a gun at her. A few minutes later, I was untied, telling the cops what happened as they took the tattoo artist away. When I asked them how they knew she was there, I was terrified to hear one of them say that they didn't know. They had only come because a neighbor complained about the noise. After that day, I'm still a tattoo fanatic, but I could never get one. Every time I hear the machine, I remember her walking slowly towards me to tattoo my whole body with her initials.
Currently, tattoos are a difficult topic for me. I can't even bear to see one, as it automatically reminds me of what happened that afternoon. Back then, I was still a teenager. Now, I am ashamed to admit I was very impressionable and naive. As soon as I made friends with some girls who had tattoos, I wanted one too. I thought they looked great, and I wished I was just like them. But there was one big problem. My father. Come on, Dad, please.
I said no, Jessie.
Why not? Give me a good reason.
Are you seriously asking me for reasons? God made it very clear that we should take care of our body, and you want to hurt it? Put ink on it and regret it later? No, definitely not. I'm offended you even ask.
I can't say he was too strict, but he was very clear about his Catholic principles. I won't regret it, Dad.
Yes, you will. Where did you get the idea that they're good, huh?
Ugh, stop! In my group of friends, there was this girl. Her name was Rosa, and she had several tattoos, but she wanted more. That's how it all started. But I have to find a new tattoo artist, since the one who did these 3 is no longer in town. Jessie, are you okay? How did you get your parents to give you their permission? I don't think they even know I have them. So, how did you... I don't need permission if I go to the right place. Are you interested? After a few days, one of Rosa's friends passed her the contact of a tattoo artist who would be willing to help us. It was a Saturday afternoon when we decided to go to the place. My friend and I walked through the big city to a narrow and smelly alley. Rosa? What, are you scared? Come on, it's this way. She and I approached some stairs that seemed to lead to the basement of a building. I was scared, just like she said. The building was damp after the rain, and the lighting was dim. It didn't seem like a place I wanted to be. Just before Rosa knocked on the door we were in front of, I grabbed her wrist to stop her. Wait, are you sure this is the place? Ugh, Jessie. She moved her hand a bit, so I let go. What did you expect? If you want to get a tattoo illegally, do you think the place is going to be nice? Did you think it would be in the middle of the city or something? Let me tell you the truth. No. They have to tattoo us like this, in the darkest, most hidden room in town, you know? You'll have to accept it if you really want this. I just stared at her without responding. Rosa was right, so I wouldn't complain again. This time, she managed to knock on the door. After a few seconds, someone spoke. Who is it? My name is Rosa. I think I spoke to you on the phone? Rosa, yeah, I remember. The woman's voice sounded strange, as if she was sleepy. The next thing we heard was locks being turned. And then the door opened, revealing an overweight woman with tattooed arms and orange hair. She stepped aside and then said, Hurry up! I don't want any more rats getting in here. Rosa had to grab me by the wrist to force me to move forward, since I had stayed completely still. I wasn't comfortable at all, but it was too late. I couldn't leave her alone. As I walked past the woman, my nose caught a strange smell. Continue to the first door in the hall. After her comment, I heard the door close. Just as the woman had requested, we continued on to the first door, but nothing seemed to improve. The light that illuminated the hall didn't stop flickering. The walls were full of moisture, and it was very cold. So, this is normal, right, Rosa? Before she could answer me, the door we were facing opened. This time, we met a man with long black hair, as well as a beard, who had as many tattoos as the woman, but there was one clear difference. He had a tattoo on his face. Beneath his left eye was a black tear.
You must be Rosa and Jessie. I'm Lex. Do you have the cash?
Sure.
Great. Sherilyn will tattoo you, Rosa, and I'll take care of you, Jessie.
I put my eyes on Rosa, who seemed to remain calm. Cool. Come on, Rosa. It didn't take long for my friend to go with the woman into the other room.
Can you close the door, Jessie?
I did as he said, and a bad feeling began to grow inside me. I felt like a bird in a cage. There weren't even any windows in the room.
Come sit down while I get everything ready.
Okay. Sitting down, I cautiously watched him grab the black ink.
What do you want to get tattooed, huh?
Well, maybe a butterfly or a flower. I was actually hoping you could help me with that. The man went still suddenly.
Help you with that? Are you a baby?
Excuse me?
Are you sure you want this? You look like a duckling lost in the woods, or worse yet, a rat in, looking for the cheese in a trap.
Was I supposed to accept these comments? A few minutes ago, Rosa seemed very calm, so I assumed that her other experiences had been similar. Of course I want this.
You haven't even decided.
A daisy. I want a daisy in this area of my arm, please.
Okay.
The moment the man grabbed my arm, a shiver ran down my spine. I felt excessively tense when he started tattooing me, although luckily it didn't hurt too much. As if that weren't enough, that strange odor that I had smelled on the woman was also here. What's that smell?
Do you know what the tattoo on my face means, Jessie?
The man, instead of answering my question, asked another. The tear? Does it mean anything in particular?
This is happening to you because you're stupid.
What? For some reason, I was starting to get dizzy.
If you weren't so naive, you would know that today you are going to die.
I didn't have the strength to respond or stay awake. When I opened my eyes, I still couldn't move, but I could speak. The man was in front of me, going through some objects on a shelf. Hey. I was in a very small room, and I got desperate when I realized that I was tied up. What are you?
I love doing this to stupid kids like you.
He started to get closer. Stop!
You deserve this, Jesse. I need your skin. There are so many ways to use it. As food to get money. You deserve this for being a stupid little shit.
When he began to hurt me with one of his tools, I started to scream. Ah! And when the pain became unbearable, I passed out. When I finally woke up again, I was in a dumpster. My whole body ached. I had a severe cut on my neck and scratches all over my body, but I was alive for some reason. Some people helped me by taking me to the police station, where I told them everything that happened. Unfortunately, Rosa's body was found in a dumpster hours later, but no sign of the tattoo artist. To this day, they are still looking for them.